Hey, yo, it's me, it's the RAV, coming back with the Heelcast speed version this week, kind of. Don't have the normal audacity we got going on, so I'm just going to name them off one by one. I've got my man Larkin with me. What's up, Larkin?
What's up, Raven Effect? How are you?
I'm doing all right, man. Doing all right. I'm at work, which I'll explain here in a sec. Also, I've got the God of Fap with us, with Hurls. Hurls, what's up?
Glad to be here. Special shout out to the chef. How you doing, bud?
Yeah. Thanks for adding me back in that fucking chat today, Hurls. I really appreciated it. I loved having my phone spammed, but shit I didn't want to listen to. 30 minutes. There was like 30 minutes of audio messages between Chef and Hurls that it's like I'm at work. I have no time to. No one's gonna follow along to that shit. I'm sorry, but
did you got the vibration setting on?
No, I don't. I'm selling beds, man. Like I got vibration settings on every mattress here in the store, so I don't need another one. But
oh,
and
okay.
also, so we got the standby podcaster with us here on the phone too.
Hello, well, I'm right here.
What the fuck do you do? Do you say do we just if no one's gonna talk, you hop in, or I don't know your role here.
Me either. I don't know it either. I'm just.
This guy's here, I guess. So maybe he'll talk, maybe he won't. I don't know. We'll figure it out at some point, I guess. But the Dick Justice of the show is here. All right. So look, we normally do some plugs. I'll be honest, to all of you that aren't on the Heelcast, no offense, much love. We just we don't have a lot of time to do it, but always check out Kyle with Impact Heads Network. What is Kyle's shit so called? Impact Heads? I don't even know.
Total Nonstop Impact.
Total Nonstop Impact, baby. Check Kyle out. Of course, Wrestling Robert with Robert Does Wrestling, and what do they call themselves? The Bodega.
Impact Bodega. Yep.
Impact Bodega. Him and Hurls' best friend Chef and some other guy. And then, of course, Larkin, what you got going on?
S&M Podcast Network, man. Check out my latest interviews with the likes of Amber Nova. We had Jimmy Rave on the show. Just a lot of great interviews. SoundCloud.com/MCLarkin92. Check it out.
All right. And Hurls, are you doing the Lucha Underground thing?
Yeah, still got the Lucha Underground. Episode 2 is going to be dropping soon. Also got a new episode of the Retro Review Crew. We're going to be reviewing Super Mario Kart from the Super Nintendo.
All right. Well, there you have it. So I'm just going to kind of explain to everyone what I got going on here. So I am at work right now. I'm the only person here. My store closes down in an hour. So here's the deal. If I have a customer that comes in the store, I have to hang out and get off the call. One of these fine gentlemen or the standby guy might hop right in. They'll take over for me. If my phone rings, my work phone rings, I've got to at least mute myself and take care of that. So if the RV sounds weird today, that's because I am. But essentially, this is kind of why we got a rush show. We wanted to pump one out tonight. So we're gonna go over the news. I haven't been able to do this show in a while. And I haven't been able to say my thoughts on Impact. So I'm just gonna say a few things. And then I'm going to kind of hop into the news. Anything you guys want to say, whatever we can do after the news. So look, Slammiversary was amazing. It had Impact going, it had the wrestling universe going and all that, talking about it, getting good vibes. It is impossible for them to come out and match that intensity, but they had to do something big. They couldn't let these shows go flat. They had to, come with that attitude and at least the energy. And the first show after Slammiversary was a complete dud. It fell flat. And these shows, it's been better since. But I just don't feel like they've done anything. They've dropped the ball. Second lowest rating that they've had Impact on Pop. I'm calling out the fans of Impact, of course, because this is fucking bullshit. I'm disgusted in the ratings, to be honest with you. But also, as far as just some of the stuff on the product, Eli Drake is above what he's doing. They need to get that guy something better to do. Moose, I don't know how we haven't seen Moose yet. Have we seen Moose?
Well, he's coming off a concussion, so we haven't seen him yet.
Yep.
At least do a vignette. You know what I mean? It's just he's gone. And I'm not just trying to be critical of everything too, but Eddie Edwards, it's not working. Let him go back to just being normal, but you can keep the innovator of violent shit and whatnot, but this crazy thing, it just seems like he's a kid with Down syndrome out there. It wasn't working at all. Let's see what else. Sue Young should have never ate a pin at all. I don't like that. I mean, pin the Undead Bride or whatever, but don't pin the champ. What they had going on with her is great. And I think that it took away from that. Who else we got on the docket? I think A-Double is still tearing it up, doing great. I think we need more of LAX and the OGs on there. I think Sami Callihan is above and beyond the rest right now. Pentagon is impressing every single week. The Lucha Brothers are tearing it up. And the Killer Cross thing I liked. I think it makes sense from a wrestling standpoint, which not almost anything makes sense in wrestling. But I feel like the reason for the attacks and all was the champ was behind it to kind of, keep everyone from gunning for him. I like what they did there. I feel like the shows are missing something, and it's been decent, but it hasn't connected, and I feel they've dropped the ball big time. So hopefully we step it up. But the fans, one of y'all got to stop eating or mute your mic. But the fans, you guys got to start tuning in, man. It's kind of ridiculous. But so we're going to hop into the news here. Let's see. One thing I noticed that I didn't get to, we kind of discussed, but so this Paradise guy, I'm going to let one of you guys take it because I don't really know much about it other than he stole my woman. But the WWE snagged Paradise from Impact Wrestling as a head producer or lead producer, whatnot. So who wants to start off on this one?
Hurls, take it away.
Sure. He was with Impact Wrestling since 2014. Good friend of Jeremy Borash. Seems like another Dixie Carter holdover. Did a lot of good stuff with the Hardy Boys. So kind of seems like Borash kind of wanted the whole piece of the puzzle, so to speak, to get him over to WWE. So, I mean, I don't think it's going to be too big of a loss. Our fellow former Heelcaster chef seems to think that it is a big loss, but I don't know. I think they can get a Abyss, who just re-signed, by the way. I think he can do that job just as well. So, but I could be wrong. I guess we'll have to wait and see how the production looks in a couple months.
Personally, I think that's a big one for WWE. I mean, they got Borash there, so they're doing their thing. Borash is doing a lot of NXT, so let's see what this gentleman does as well. So that's cool. I got no issues with it.
I got issues with him banging Rebel. I mean, that's my boo. So, I mean, watch your back, Paradise. Spelled with a Y. What do you like? He's running Impact Edge or some shit with the dumb spelling. Just kidding, Kyle. But point here though is with Chef, literally losing Mahabali Shira is a huge loss if you got Chef. I mean, anyone that Impact loses, he'll say is a drop ball and a big loss, except for Austin Aries. So he'll say Aries is the worst thing ever. But other than that, everyone to Chef is a big loss to Impact because they're failing. What about the standby guy? You got something to say on this one?
I don't even know who that is, who Paradise is.
All right. Damn it, Dick Justice done a shit apparently. I think he's trolling because I think this Dick Justice dude knows a little bit more. But I also think he's Ric Flair and we got a bone to pick one of these days. But now, what's the other story here? So okay, all right. So a little bit somber. The guy who literally had one match in TNA Impact Wrestling, and it was the thing that made me fucking turn my stomach and want to throw my remote through my TV screen at the time. And actually, when we do the 2009 show, it's kind of shitty and sad because when we eventually do this 2009 show, I'm just gonna go on this, but Jim the Anvil Neidhart, one half of the legendary tag team, the Hart Foundation, who teamed up with the greatest professional wrestler of all time, passed away this week. Jim the Anvil Neidhart's TNA debut, he defeated Jay Lethal. Yeah, you heard that right. But look, it's R.I.P. to the Anvil. He didn't have the most single success, but I'm a fan of his daughter. I love the Hart family. The Hart Foundation is still one of my favorite tag teams of all time. Very sad news, especially the way that he went. It's sad. Man used to smoke crack, for God's sake, But Larkin, your thoughts on the Anvil?
Dude, one of the legends, man. He was also known as Who for a short period of time. WCW, WWF, the Hart Foundation will go down as one of the greatest factions and tag teams of all time. And it's crazy just to see because you had the Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog, Brian Pillman, Jim the Anvil Neidhart. The only one still in that whole faction that's still alive is Mr. Hitman himself, Bret Hart. But again, it's a true loss. And again, one of the most greatest wrestlers as far as tag team goes. And it's a true loss for the business. Too young, too, 63. So rest in peace to one Jim Anvil Neidhart.
You know what, Larkin?
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of mad because you stole the one thing that dawned on me yesterday.
What?
That I wanted to be the one to mention, and that's from that Calgary Stampede match. That Brett is the only person that's still alive. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Also, what I also wanted to mention is I'm pretty sure that since the Hart Foundation broke up, that Calgary Stampede match may be the very, very, very first and only win that Jim the Anvil Neidhart got in his career.
Probably, dude.
Until fucking Jay Lethal.
Jay Lethal. Go ahead, Hurls.
Yeah. Hurls,
I just wanted to add, the Anvil also had a couple matches in ECW as well. He had one against the Sandman in '93, November to Remember. I don't know if he won or not. Probably not, I'm assuming. But it's really sad. A lot of people don't know that he did have a lot of problems. A lot of drug problems. He was arrested quite a few times for some crazy stuff. And a lot of the times when you didn't see him in the WWF in the early 90s, it's usually because he had problems no-showing events. So that's why he went over to WCW for a very small stay in '93. Obviously, we all know his Hart Foundation run, which unfortunately was only about a year long. And then he left to go to WCW with British Bulldog and Bret the Hitman Hart. And unfortunately, his WCW run was his second one was really bad. They were basically losing almost every week, never really accumulated to anything. It's another really bad booking decision by WCW. But, really sad. Hart Foundation's definitely one of the best tag teams ever. And I will never forget when he turned heel and sided with Owen Hart. Really made me he really got under my skin around that time. So another legend gone too soon. And I had a guy I know kind of pass away the same way he did with the whole seizure falling on his head type thing. It's not good. But rest in peace, Anvil.
Dwayne, do you have anything to add?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Danville. He was pretty good. I mean, yeah, he had his problems, but he was a pretty good guy. I mean, wrestling wise, he was good. I mean, I think he was used a lot to put people over.
Okay, I'll call you right back.
And he didn't win much, but like he was able to make you look.
All right, if you just hop back on, I heard some silence. My apologies on my phone, and if one of you can maybe put this in the chat. I can't seem to figure out on my iPhone how to get back to mute this thing.
Raven, you're okay. All we heard was a phone call. There was no shout to that. You're okay. Just keep doing your thing.
All right, that works. So I don't know what got said, but I guess a couple other things I want to push out is Hurls. I actually don't think it was that bad of a booking decision in WCW. But I do think the British Bulldog deserved a little bit better than he got there. But I do briefly remember that stuff. Like I've always, when they brought Bret over and they brought the other two in, it was just like they did nothing with him at all. And I feel like at least Davey Boy, got kind of screwed over that way. But Hart Foundation, I always thought like they needed to go into the WWE Hall of Fame as a tag team as well, or like even the 5 of them. You know what I mean? And it was pretty disappointing that didn't happen. But I didn't know he was who. I didn't know he was in ECW either.
Yeah, that was news to me. I forgot he was in ECW too.
Yeah, very, very quick.
Okay.
And that, when he came back and turned on Bret and joined forces with Owen, I remember that too. And I always think about this though, because it's like he came back, turned, but I don't remember, and I'm thinking literally the only time it may have happened was he may have beaten like a jobber or two after that. But I can't remember like ever seeing Jim the Anvil Neidhart win a match, seeing like a solo match, except for that Jay Lethal one well after he was retired.
You know what it is, too? Just, again, that matchup. Ugh. And that was also around the time, I think, when Tatanka beat Jay Lethal as well. So, I mean...
Correct.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, Lethal lost to everyone. And Jim... When Neidhart came out and hadn't won a match in years and had, like, a legit fucking bowling ball flopping around in that stomach, dude, it was a... Anyways, let's save this for the 2009 show.
Hey, come on, man. A man that's passed away. Save it for when you do 2009. Anyway, rest in peace to the late, great Jim the Anvil Neidhart, a true legend in tag team wrestling and inspired a lot of great people. So just rest in peace.
Sorry for shitting all over you. Rest in peace, Anvil.
So do you guys want to get to the heart of the matter now?
I think it's time.
Okay, I do have the article if you guys want me to start off by reading it.
Yeah, Larkin, I want you to go ahead and take this one for me. So,
okay,
I've read what's going on, but you go ahead and take it from here, Larkin.
Okay, so Impact Wrestling founder Jeff Jarrett and his company, Global Force Entertainment, LLC, filed a copyright infringement lawsuit against Impact Wrestling owner Anthem Sports and Entertainment Corporation and its subsidiary Anthem Wrestling Exhibitions, LLC, which contains Impact Wrestling on August 10th in the United States District Court of Tennessee. The 26-page lawsuit alleges that Anthem has violated state and federal trademark infringements in relation to GFE, violated Jeff Jarrett's exclusive property rights to his own name, photograph, and other likeness, that Anthem has used a reproduction, counterfeit copy, or colorable imitation of the Global Force Wrestling and GFW trademarks and commerce. Therefore, they are in violation of the Lanham Act, which prohibits trademark infringement, trademark dilution, and false advertising. The lawsuit also claims violation of the Lanham Act through alleged acts of unfair competition that were done with the intent to deceive the public into believing that goods and services offered or sold by defendants are made by, approved by, sponsored by, or affiliated with GFE. That Anthem has caused products and or services to enter interstate commerce designated with variations of the Global Force Wrestling and GFW trademarks. The filing claimed defendants' use of said designation and other representations constitute a false designation of origin which is likely to cause confusion, to cause mistake, and to deceive as to the affiliation, connection, or association of defendants with GFE and as to the origin, sponsorship, or approval of such goods and services by GFE. And the lawsuit also claims that Anthem has unjustly enriched themselves through their actions and violated the Tennessee Consumer Protection Act. The filing claims that Anthem approached Jarrett and GFE in October 2016 to initial discussions about merging Jarrett's company with Anthem Sports in exchange for memberships and equity in Anthem Sports that would also have included hiring Jarrett as Chief Creative Officer. The two sides signed a non-disclosure agreement on December 9, 2016. Jarrett signed a consultant deal with Anthem in January 2017, and at that point, Mr. Jarrett provided the only set of masters for the 16 one-hour episodes of GFW Amped content to defendants who the lawsuit claims still have the only copy of the masters. And there's a little bit more that I'll go into, but over that, what do you guys think so far?
I'll go ahead and say a couple things too, because then I gotta make a call at work, and I may have to get off the show.
Okay.
Let you guys take everything, but I mean, a couple things. For one, I feel Jeff Jarrett, is obviously bitter over this, and I'm not gonna take Impact side 100%. You know what I mean? But I think Jarrett's obviously bitter, and he was definitely bitter after he had lost his job. I think Jeff Jarrett is probably out of money, to be honest with you. And that's not bad for the guy's career, but I mean, if you look at all the money he's invested in this stuff and the failure that's happened. So, for one, he's trying to do this global wrestling entertainment or whatever, and so he's going to want that footage. I feel like Jeff Jarrett, with him and Vince being buddy now, I feel he probably thinks that he can get that on the WWE Network. And I also think that he feels like the WWE and WWE Network will acknowledge his Global Force Entertainment thing, and he'll get more buzz and publicity doing that, and thinks that there's, whatever to do with it. And I think Jarrett is like never going to give up the fact that he thinks he's going to start something big. The thing is, Jeff Jarrett needs to realize that no one cares. The only time anyone ever really cared about Global Force Wrestling was when they were taking over Impact Wrestling. Like the Global Force Wrestling Network, that will not add one subscriber to the WWE Network, nor will it add one subscriber to the Global Wrestling Network. But my other thought on this too is that if you look at it like this, Anthem buys a company in Impact Wrestling that has a lot of debt and a lot of problems there with Dixie Carter. There's been rumors that they've been upset, considered selling it, so forth and so forth, and they've got the library, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Jarrett being his bitterness, look, if they go in there and this lawsuit costs a lot of money and they lose or something along those lines, Anthem may say, you know what, enough is enough. That makes Vince McMahon and Jeff Jarrett happy because there goes Impact Wrestling. There goes that library for sale. There goes literally the only thing that could ever become competition to them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to be honest, Impact Wrestling will probably never, ever, ever become competition to them. But they're the only ones in the U.S. that can ever dive back into that market because ROH and New Japan just don't do what they do. So I feel like there's a couple of motivation to it, but I really just think Jarrett wants money and is trying to salvage himself. But Jarrett, this has become a joke. Nobody cares about Global Force Wrestling. I've seen the DVDs. I will try and sell them for much more money now. The product was good. It was entertaining, but it doesn't leave you craving for more. Nobody fucking cares. That's all I'm going to say on the matter.
All right. Before Hurls and standby guy here comes in, the last thing I'll mention of that, in the lawsuit, Jarrett alleges that after he was terminated by Anthem, the announced merger between GFE and Anthem never went through, and that despite Anthem Wrestling's acknowledgement of GFE's ownership of all GFW AMP content, defendants reproduced, distributed, publicly displayed, offered for sale, and sold the GFW AMP content without providing any compensation or royalties to GFE or Mr. Jarrett, and then his attorney comes out and says that they're just going to deal with all this in court, and that Jeff doesn't have his statement right now in regards to this lawsuit. So, Hurls, I'll let you go first. Take it away.
Hey, you know what?
Sure.
Sorry, I'm going to cut you guys off and run away. Sorry. I forgot to say this. Hurls, my apologies. Him going after the Global Wrestling Network name, though, I feel like that may possibly be damaging. Like the WWE's advertised the Global Wrestling Network. You take that away, that name, that's what people go with. I think that may do some damage for whatever reason. I just feel like that's going to be the most damaging. And it's like, if you look at it this way, it's Global Wrestling Network because there's all these other promotions on there and independents and whatnot. I feel like if you do the Impact name or TNA name or something to it, it kind of is undercutting them, even though it should. But that's my thoughts on it. I might be back, guys.
Okay.
All right.
Go ahead, Hurls.
Yeah. My take on this whole situation is that I agree that Jeff Jarrett is probably low on money. The whole stuff with Impact Wrestling didn't work out. And problem is, a lot of it had to do with himself and his personal issues. So I don't know why he decides to do this, besides the fact that unless, which I'm thinking, he wants to start up GFW again. He wants to make GFW a big thing. And that's why I think he's trying to do this, so he has some startup footage in case, he thinks GFW can get to a certain level. I don't think he has a shot in hell to win the GWN, though. I really don't think he does not own the word global. Okay, so Global Wrestling Network, I think will be fine. As far as GFW, I think if Impact has to do anything, fine. Give them the 4 DVDs. Give them the 4 shows that were combined of 16 episodes. Give them that. I mean, they were decent shows, but they weren't anything mind-blowing either. There was some good wrestling, but they weren't just the best, the best stuff you've ever seen. I mean, we were introduced to Kevin Cross and we were introduced to Congo Kong on those things, but still, if it's worse comes to worse, if that's all Impact has to do, just let them have it. Don't spend that much money because that's what Jeff Jarrett wants. I mean, I kind of look at this like Jeff Jarrett has nothing to lose here, and it's just a ploy to get some revenge on Ed Nordholm and Anthem Incorporated. So that's kind of how I look at this whole thing. I really don't want to sour on Jeff Jarrett because he's the guy who started the whole company, started TNA, started Impact, back in 2002. And I got a lot of respect for him. He did a lot of great things, but in these past 5 years, I would say he's been looking really desperate. And and his personal issues have really come to the forefront. And I think it's starting to really take a toll on him. So I'm not sure if I see Vince McMahon taking the Global Wrestling Network taking the Global Force Wrestling footage to the WWE Network. It's very possible because, Vince wants that all footage. But I feel there's just more for Jarrett to gain here. In his mind, he really wants that GFW to come back to life. He's not going to stop. The problem is American wrestling right now is bloated. In my opinion, it's bloated. I mean, we just got another startup promotion, MLW. their second rebirth, so to speak. They got a TV deal. Global Force Wrestling couldn't even get a TV deal, and they had actually a pretty good roster at one point. So I think Jeff Jarrett's it's just wrong time to start a company. There's just way too many. There's Lucha Underground, obviously. You got this Aero Lucha kind of starting up. You got Ring Warriors, even though that's, from what I'm hearing, it's just going to be like paid programming. Mm-hmm. So you had Paragon Pro Wrestling. I don't even know if they're still doing the paid programming stuff, but there's just way too much wrestling right now. And wrestling's not like, we're healthy because there is so much wrestling, and there's quite a few promotions that have TV deals. But at the same time, it's not like it's a big wrestling boom where this thing's like breaking barriers and it's really in the mainstream like it was back in the Attitude Era. It's not like that. So I think Jeff Jarrett, really, it's just if he gets a few bucks out of it, I think he's got nothing to lose, and that's why he's doing this. So before we go on to Standby Guy, I want to read fellow Heelcaster, Impact dude, his response to this whole thing. Okay. Because he had some good stuff on the situation, and I want to make sure that we kind of all know what he's thinking here, because he's not on the show, obviously. So he believes that Jarrett just tried to make headlines instead of just sending a simple cease and desist, and he waited way too long when he knew the content was out there and the anthology is worthless than a book of matches in a bar. So that's from our very own Impact dude and his thoughts on the whole Jarrett situation. So Standby Guy, give us your input.
Hold on, before Standby goes, Raven wanted to say that Jarrett allowed them to put it out under the one night only Impact banner, so it's a product of Impact.
Good.
I agree with that. But I think Jarrett is just trying to get his name recognition again. I mean, he's out the spotlight, so he's wanting to be back in it. And if he's got any chance of restarting GFW, he should just stiff Vince and put it on the network. I mean, since I think NXT is going to TV or something.
Well, NXT right now is on the WWE Network each and every Wednesday.
I think it's, they were saying on that one wrestling chat that they had a deal to go on TV.
Okay.
In 2019, so I'm not sure about that though.
All right, we'll see. I mean, I know the Fox deal, but let's see what goes with NXT. But yeah, he makes another valid point there. I mean, I'll personally just say this: I'm like, let him deal with it in the courtroom. So I'm just like, that's my stance. So whatever happens, happens. But again, valid points from each and every one of us as far as the Jeff Jarrett situation goes. Does anybody else have anything to add?
I just want to say, Dwayne, I know what you're talking about with the there's rumors that NXT is going to go to the Fox Sports 1 come 2019, but that's obviously just a rumor at this point. Nothing's confirmed. And Larkin, we'll see what happens in the courtroom. I don't think, if you're Impact, I don't think they're going to have to fear too much. Like I said, I feel like Jarrett's just kind of back against the wall, got nothing to lose mentality. So why not throw out a lawsuit? Why not sue Impact? See what happens. Maybe I'll get a few bucks, That's kind of how I view this.
You know what? I'm back real quick. One thing I wanted to say, too, and I kind of missed your guys' discussion, unfortunately. And I don't know if one of you guys covered this, too, but my honest-to-God thoughts is that from the start of this thing, I think Jeff Jarrett had aspirations to where he was going to pull a fast one at some point. I don't know exactly how. But my thought was that Jarrett was eventually going to try and take the reins out from Ed Nordholm and kind of swoop under him. And kind of literally try and take over the company and kind of oust Ed, because that's it's kind of ran in Jarrett's family and in his blood, and I feel like that was probably his intent too from the start. So I legitimately think that he's like a fucking carny. Like he's cheap. He's a cheapskate. He's just got that fucking scumbag thing to him, man. Like I've lost all respect for him when he started kissing Vince's ass, but this is just worse. Like I have no positive thoughts towards the guy anymore.
All right. So now, do you guys want to talk about Impact, the show itself?
I was just kind of thinking we could do, if more of a, how we kind of like a broad view of it.
Got you.
I mean, you guys can do the Impact after this. You can just do a little quick rundown. You and stand by, and then I can head out, and that'll be fine.
Okay.
As well.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I still have to catch up on it as well. But I will say this: I'm aware of Killer Cross attacking and being aligned with Austin Aries and the whole thing with Eddie Edwards. So that's going to be very interesting to see where that goes further. And I like that Killer Cross is now the insurance policy, if you will, for Austin Aries. So I think from what's going to come on that end is going to be great. More LAX and OGs. So I'll be honest with you. I dug the show and I thought it was very solid as far as from what I saw. Like I said, I got to catch up on some things, but from what I saw, the main ones, I thought it was really good.
Right. Yeah, no, I think that's actually a really good way to use Killer Cross. I feel like that actually validates Austin Aries even more, makes him even a better heel, and I think that's gonna pay dividends down the road. So I like what they did there. I also agree with Eddie Edwards. Like at first, it looked like he was gonna be able to pull this character off. But now that they've kind of done the whole, storyline with him, I don't know if I'm feeling him in this role. I just don't know if he can play anything else besides Eddie Edwards, the lovable face, So I don't know.
It's tough because I don't buy him as like the psycho Eddie thing. I'm just like I think Raven was mentioning. I'm kind of like mad about the whole entire thing.
I feel like creative kind of failed him too, though. To be honest with you guys. I think he was pulling it off well, to be honest, but I feel like the way that they took things creative with the storyline, it did him no justice, and he's just failing miserably with what he's given.
Standby guy, go ahead.
I don't think Eddie Edwards is a heel. He doesn't seem. I mean, he at first he was pretty good, but like as the storylines progressed, he can't, keep up being a heel. I mean, he's just a face. I mean, there's some guys that can pull it off and some guys that can't, and he's one of them.
I will say this. The other thing that really came out of it was we saw Tessa Blanchard beat Alicia, and now she's coming for Allie in the Knockouts Championship. So there was a spoiler. We'll just get it out there because it was all over TMZ as well. Tessa Blanchard is your new Impact Wrestling Knockouts champion. So, what do you guys think about that?
I think it was inevitable. I would have maybe rather seen her first win at a pay-per-view, but understanding that Impact's only got, as of right now, 3 actual pay-per-views, I guess they kind of have to do some of this stuff. So it's inevitable. I mean, Tessa Blanchard's got, star written across her all over the board. So, and especially with the knockouts are kind of in a weird shape right now. I feel like that division's probably taken the biggest hit lately. I don't know if it's Impact's fault. I think it's a lot to do with injuries and a lot to do with contracts and knockouts leaving, and maybe knockouts having visa issues. So I don't know if it's Impact's fault, but it's a no-brainer. That's what I will say.
So this was like Tessa winning was on TMZ and stuff like that?
Yeah, it was all on TMZ, her celebrating. There's a photo of it out there. It was all on the internet. So yeah, Tessa Blanchard, your new Knockouts champion.
Yeah, I'm avoiding spoilers again. I'm trying this thing out, and that literally was the only thing that I know happened because I saw some headline that was like new champion in Impact, and I couldn't resist. I think it's awful. I feel like Su Yung is the way that she's doing things is fantastic. And I understand, she didn't eat the pin. Sorry, another spoiler. But it's just the girl, what she's doing, everything about her is so much above all the other knockouts right now. And I feel like you need to keep her dominant. That's why I have a problem with her eating that pin. But I feel like when her and Rosemary, and I know Rosemary's a while back, but that's fine. Keep the champions dominant in wrestling. That's not something that happens very often anymore. And I feel like she should keep that belt. And her and Rosemary, it has to be for the belt, but don't hot potato it. And I get the Tessa Blanchard thing, but I don't feel like she's as fucking amazing as she's being built up to be. I just, it's I just don't buy her as much as they're trying to make it seem like she is. You know what I mean?
Standby guy, your thoughts on Tessa Blanchard, the undeniable Tessa Blanchard as the new Knockouts champion?
I love
it
that.
It doesn't matter what stand-up guy thinks.
I like the idea I like the idea that she is champion, but I don't think it was the right time to make her champion. I mean, she's still fairly new to TNA. I mean, Impact, which it's a good idea that she is champion. It's in her blood that she'll eventually be there. So I mean, I guess they went early on putting her as champion. So I mean, it's a good idea.
All right. Now, is there anything else that you guys would like to cover as far as Impact news? And does anybody have anything else to say?
I actually think stand-up guy made a good point. Maybe it does matter what he said. I think it is good she's champion. I just don't know that it was the right time. I absolutely agree. That's a good point.
And
I mean, we all knew she was going to be champion at some point, and I agree. I think that Impact should have teased it a little longer. I think you can't get in trouble if you have her chase the title for a little while. I mean, at least until, I don't know, Bound for Glory at least. I think that would have been a good moment.
I mean, it kind of seems like that would be the obvious match for Bound for Glory, because what else can they have for Su Yung? Because Rosemary won't be back,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But I mean, Hurls, like, you make a good point. Like, the Knockouts are in a weird state. I mean, for one, like, contracts and whatnot, I mean, that is on them. It's half on them to, cater to the wrestlers and make sure they get a good deal. Like, I feel there's no excuse that Sienna's gone. I feel like she was an asset, but the problem is that they have, like, every girl on the roster except for, like, one that has any credibility is a heel right now. And you can't turn Tessa face, you can't turn Su Yung face. There's no viable challengers for Su Yung when Rosemary's gone. It's basically Rosemary and Allie only. And
is Taya not in Impact now, or is she on break or whatever?
Well, here's the thing.
I have no idea what's going on with her.
What, Taya Valkyrie?
Visa issues.
Yeah, visa issues. Thank you.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because we talked about this with Impact doing the last one. I said, look, dude, the only babyface you got, everybody's a heel. Scarlett Bordeaux, Tessa Blanchard, Su Yung, the whole nine. There's only 3 heels on that roster now. There's Allie, there's Kiera Hogan, and there's Alicia, and that's it.
And they're not strong enough to even carry the weight.
I mean, Madison Rayne, for God's sake, Madison Rayne challenged for the bout because of the lack of faces, and then after this girl beats Tessa and the rest of the division, she goes out and can't even win in the first round of the Mae Young Classic. I mean, a brilliant, typical Impact move, just not knowing what's ahead of time. Scarlett Bordeaux is killing it, though. Mm-hmm. She is fine as fuck. This girl's killing it. I'm liking what they're doing with her. And everyone's complaining like she can't work. It doesn't fucking matter. Sonny couldn't wrestle. Miss Elizabeth couldn't wrestle. You don't always have to have the females wrestle to make them effective. I think this girl right now is on fire.
Right. I agree. I mean, a woman like Scarlett Bordeaux will attract viewers. I mean, it's a given. Attitude Era, like you said, we didn't have ring technicians, and they're still bringing it. They were super popular. Okay. And we don't need Scarlett to be a ring technician. We do need more faces, though. That I agree with. And I honestly, I think there's one woman you could bring in as a face, and it would make total sense if you brought in Kimberly. I think you could pair her up with Allie. I mean, they were a tag team on the Indies. It makes a lot of sense there.
Well, you know what? Honestly, I mean, if we're going to go this way, the babyface is the most over, that makes the most sense, it has the most credibility, hasn't even had a match, but Diamante is still out there. For some reason, they only sporadically use that girl. Get her in. Like, we've been wanting to see her forever. Like, the fans, Diamante's over as fuck. We all want to see her, but they, for some reason, do not let this girl wrestle.
And it's funny because, in a couple of weeks or whatever, she's going to be wrestling Tessa Blanchard on Indy.
Wow.
That being Diamante. So, I mean, she still does her thing as Angel Rose on the independent scene, but it's just man, you got to let her get in there. Let her do her thing. Let her shine. And it's so funny, too, because I'll say this: we got Mr. Swing Yo Dick coming in as far as that next one. Joey Ryan's going to fight Eli Drake at that one night only, not one night only, that Twitch show on Sunday. So, I mean, there's that Lucha tie-in as well because he's on Lucha Underground. What do you think about the likes of Joey Ryan and all those guys coming in for that Twitch show on Sunday?
I think that Twitch show looks pretty good, actually. There's a lot of matches I do want to see. I think Eli Drake versus Joey Ryan is going to be a very interesting dynamic between those two. I can only imagine the promo that Eli Drake's going to give before the match. That's going to be pretty entertaining. I can't wait to see Sami Callihan versus Matt Cross. I think that's going to be a really good match. Mm-hmm. And it'll be good to see AR Fox. And he's been nothing but good stuff in Lucha. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be good to see what he does against Rich Swann and Matt Sydal.
Good.
No, go ahead, guys.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, so the whole entire thing is, I mean, you mentioned bringing Kimberly in. I think that would be another asset, like you mentioned, former tag team partner of Ali. I mean, as far as this one night only shows, I mean, Jerry Lynn's going to be making an appearance. It's going to be great to see Jerry Lynn as far as that front. But, I mean, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of solid action on there. Nicole Payne getting a matchup with Sue Young, a local talent from the Tennessee area. So you showcases a lot of talents on that front. So that looks to be what's going on as far as the Twitch show this Sunday. And also tickets go on sale August 25th for Bound for Glory, which is going to be emanating from the Melrose Ballroom in Queens, New York.
And let's not forget the Veterans of War actually have a match on this Twitch event as well. So we haven't seen them in a long time since their feud with LAX. So it'll be good to see what they're up to.
The War Kings they're called right now.
Oh, yeah, they're called the War Kings now. They're not called Veterans of War anymore.
They're putting asses in seats, that's for sure. I mean... And this was the other thing, too, I want to say. I mean, like, Jerry, like, wanted to do his GFW thing. Like, it's such a draw and whatnot. Sorry, dude, but fucking Reno Scum isn't going to sell tickets because that's about all he's got left. But Impact dropped a huge ball with Joey Ryan, I think, back in the days. I didn't really buy into the guy at first, but, like, when I saw him on the one night onlys, and I remember they do an interview or something. It's him and Morgan are going to tag team, and he, like, talks about how he's going to go out, and after the match, him and, what's her name, the ugly girl that SoCal about how they're going to go make sweet love afterwards. I mean, dude is hilarious. Obviously, he's got his shtick now with his shtick. But, like, I think that's good. I think that there's some other talent there. And, I mean, we're talking Lucha Underground and whatnot and the talent there. But, I mean, you talk about knockouts they can bring in. I mean, Evilise is there.
Yep.
And I still feel like there's some Lucha Underground guys that they're not using that I really wish they would.
So, standby podcaster, what do you think about this dude?
I like Joey Ryan. He's pretty good. I watched him in Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, too. He was in a group called, I forget the name of the group. But, yeah, he's pretty good. I like him.
I'll say this, I go back to watching Joey Ryan when he was a part of that 70s team in Wrestling Society X back in around 2007. I mean, the dude's come a long way, Mr. Swing Yo Dick, so, I mean, there it is.
Well, he was also, speaking of tying this in with Jeff Jarrett and GFW, he was in a tag team with Kenny King called Teeth and Sleeves, so...
Oh, there you go, Mr. Chippendales himself and Joey Ryan, so there you go.
Yep. So,
you know what, yep. One thing I wanted to add that I haven't been too happy with on Impact Wrestling is, you know, they have a double come out after he beats Moose, and he gets involved in a small angle with the former Santino Marella. You know
Anthony Corelli, yeah.
Yeah. So look, not only do we have a segment where we have some fucking bozo challenging for the world title that nobody knows, who literally looks like Mr. Generic is apparently Santino or Anthony's whatever sidekick or protege that he's training or whatnot.
Dustin Cameron, yep.
I mean, why in the fuck is... Not only why is he on there, but two, why is Santino Marella involved in an angle with the world champion regardless? And we know he's not going to get in the ring and wrestle and all, but, like, the biggest comedic joke in WWE's probably history is gets, like, the advantage on the world champ, kicks him in the balls. Like, he looks better than the world champ. I felt like that was ridiculous. And we're seeing this Dustin Cameron, this fucking bum on TV. Why can't Desmond Xavier get on TV?
Okay.
Why not take these better talents from Lucha Underground? That's frustrating.
Hold on. All right. So as far as the Santino thing, he's got Battle Arts Academy in Canada, so there's also the Canada tie-in there with Anthony Corelli. As far as he goes, I mean, you're not going to do a match with him because he's got neck issues, and he's already said he can't wrestle. So they did that thing with Dustin Cameron. He hits Austin Aries in the ball sack, and then it comes Eddie Edwards around with the kendo stick. But yeah, that's pretty much the only tie-in. Also, he's got that thing with Alicia, behind the lights there on Twitch. So it's again to promote Twitch and promote Anthony Corelli's school there in Canada. So it's the Canada tie-in as far as Santino goes.
But don't have him look like he's getting the upper advantage on your world champ.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
Put it with Grado or whoever, you know what I mean? But not fucking your world champion.
Okay. Hurls, do you want to comment on Anthony Corelli?
Yeah, I do. I mean, do you remember his debut on WWE Raw?
Yeah, where he beat Umaga in the crowd. Yes.
Yeah, I remember that.
He was actually portrayed as I want to say almost like a kickboxer.
Well, that was his gimmick. Charles, I'm sorry.
I don't mean to interrupt. Serious.
Yeah, I don't mean to interrupt, Charles. I'm sorry. But yeah, he was Boris Alexiev in OVW, and he did have that background. So yeah, I agree.
Right. And I feel like he has that in him, but with the whole Santino Marella comedy character that kind of took off, I kind of feel like he got pigeonholed into that role, and he did it well. So, but at the same time, he can't really wrestle anymore, which is unfortunate because you really can't use him, and you really shouldn't use him in the way that Impact did use him. So I feel unless he's actually going to, manage a serious contender, I don't think they should have did this program with Austin Aries at all.
Standby podcaster, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't agree with what they did with, how they did use him. I mean, he can't wrestle, so why put him in there and just have him kick double, Austin Aries in the ball? I mean, that was just stupid.
I mean, yeah, it's unfortunate. It was a very, situation that, it was what it was. I mean, he didn't have, he's a non-wrestler. I mean, he's there. He got Dustin Cameron in who got killed in a matter of minutes. So, I mean, it was what it was. Do I agree with it? No. But again, it promotes Twitch and the Canada promotion and, the school, the Battle Arts Academy. So, it was what it was. But as far as the world champion, yes. And obviously, he looks bigger than Austin Aries with that stare down. So, it is what it is.
I will say this, I feel like the guy doesn't get enough credit. Like Santino Marella or Anthony, whatever the fuck you want to call him, I don't care. Dude can wrestle. He's a good wrestler, and obviously he was comedic the entire time, and a lot of it wasn't funny, but he did make me laugh at times, and I feel like he actually is a legit funnier guy, with some personality. It's just what he's given to work with the WWE and their PG writers. That stupid shit. But literally, the guy can never, ever, ever, ever shake being Santino Marella, the guy with the Cobra, a.k.a. Santina Marella.
Yeah.
The guy trying to wrestle women. It's impossible for this to, but it is what it is.
I mean, that's his WrestleMania moment, right?
The Santina thing?
Or also get knocked down by Snoop Dogg at WrestleMania 24, so yeah.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Yeah, and didn't he kiss Maria after that, too?
Yes, he did.
Mike Bennett's woman made out with the gangly dick finger Snoop Doggy Dogg.
Okay.
To get a jobby job.
Yes. Okay. So yes, that did happen. Okay. On that note, does anybody else have anything to add? I mean, as far as the MediaCom, we got Eli Drake and Joe Hendry. We got LAX against, I believe, Storm and Fleisch. And we have Sami Callihan versus Mr. Jimmy Havoc announced for that MediaCon in September.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I can't wait to see Impact back in the UK. I think that's going to be, and that's a Twitch event, correct? Or is that a one night only?
I think it's wait, hold on. Yeah, I think it's a Twitch event.
Okay. That'll be a really cool event to see again. I'm glad that's happening. Have you guys checked out any of the Twitch shows?
I did see AML. Yeah, I did see AML Confrontation. I thought it was all right.
Yeah, okay. I did a review on that. I'll be hopefully dropping pretty soon here. But do you watch any of the prestigious what is it? Prestigious Tuesdays with Joe Henry?
I think I saw one he was playing Sonic the Hedgehog, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, Raven, you would hate that show, by the way. You would hate it. Watching a guy play video games and just talking to people. That's basically what that is. But Impact did a Mario Kart tournament, which was actually kind of fun. A no-namer guy won the whole thing, but it was pretty cool to see some. You see the Impact Wrestling superstars in a different light, so I thought that was kind of cool.
Oh, Hurls, I got something to mention to you. Your boy's on Twitch. Stone Rockwell's got his the adventures on Twitch.
Yes, he's got his own show on there now too. So I like that guy. I think he's a good comedy character. I hope they use him more on Impact, but.
Raven Effect.
He's been good on the one night onlys.
Oh yeah, Raven Effect. Any thoughts on these Twitch shows?
I haven't seen them. The one thing that did come to mind, though, and I know this is a little bit off topic and all, but you mentioned Sami Callihan, and what I want to say is I didn't even know the tapings were coming up, because I'm trying to avoid spoilers, but haven't even paid enough attention to that. But I saw that they're advertising this Mexican death match between him and Pentagon Jr. At these tapings. For one, I'm excited about it because, these guys had probably the match of the past couple of years for any promotion. But this is what I'm going to say is Callahan has got to go over in some matches at some point because the guy's too good to just keep fucking jobbing all the time. This guy is fucking fire. This guy's great. Like, everything he's doing is fantastic. Like, you've got to stop jobbing him every time.
Agreed.
SBP, Standby Podcaster, what are your thoughts on all these events?
I like most of the Twitch events that TNA Impact's doing. I mean, they're good. I don't really watch Twitch much, but only when they're doing the Impact.
Alrighty. So anything else you guys
want? Nothing sounds more fucking entertaining to me, though, Hurls, is watching someone else play a video game.
we technically still.
Why the fuck you guys are
good.
You guys, not only you guys, but or anyone. Why watch this? My God.
Okay.
You're not even playing yourself.
I'll be honest.
You're playing with yourself, but you're not even playing yourself.
I'll be honest. I know he did Sonic the Hedgehog. I know Hurls. Hurls, didn't you bring that up that he was playing Sonic the Hedgehog?
The one that I watched, he was doing Crash Bandicoot, the new one.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's how I do it.
More entertaining than watching a guy play a video game from 1993.
Well, I saw Hurls talking about it, and pretty much what he's doing on Twitch is what Xavier Woods is doing on YouTube with Up, Up, Down, Down.
Right. Same pretty much concept. He also, you could ask him any type of question, and he was taking questions of why he signed with Impact. So you kind of get that little, that inside scoop with that too. But he's a pretty funny guy. I mean, he makes a lot of jokes while he's playing the games, so it's not like as boring as it seems, but it's still like I watched for like 10 minutes and I was like, I can't go any longer.
And the only thing
I'm going to play a video game, I'm going to play it by myself.
Oh, yeah. And dude, the only other thing I saw with Stone Rockwell, I think there was a clip of him and Jimmy Jacobs getting a manicure together. I'm like, what in the world? Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's adventures.
Adventures.
They do something different every week. So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right, Raven Effect, go ahead. Okay, Standby Podcast.
I don't even know that I've got anything much left to say, to be honest. I'm kind of wrapping up, closing down my store, and we'll have to hop off the phone in a couple minutes regardless. But I don't even know. I don't know. I don't watch these Twitch shows, and it's not. I do not have the time, to be honest with you, and I know they don't really make much relevance. I'm sure they're entertaining maybe at one point, but to be honest with you, I just probably won't have the time. But I'm glad that people are tuning in and watching them, and at least someone's tuning into Impact, I guess. Like, fuck this fan base for just these low ratings. I understand they haven't hit where they should be as far as following up from Summerversary, but this is such a fucking insult to how the fuck did they do such a great job at Summerversary, have everyone talking, the entire fucking wrestling world, and just the show falls so flat, but then to just 3 weeks after Summerversary, the lowest rating, second lowest rating in history on Pop. It's just unbelievable.
Standby Podcaster, Would you like to add anything else?
No.
Okay. Hurls, would you like to add anything else?
Short and sweet. I like it. I just think that Impact, with all the Twitch shows they do, they need to have a Twitch title. I think, or that could be your replacement for the TV title, and then you could have the guy who holds it go to all the different Twitch events, because I think they're really missing out on that. I think that would be a way to market both, and it would give another title to someone, so especially a guy like Desmond Xavier, who's doesn't get used a lot. So Also, I mean, I checked, some of the guys that they're using in these upcoming tapings. All I got to say is, if you haven't seen the one night onlys, you probably haven't seen Josh Alexander. He's legit. He's a great wrestler. He's kind of got that Rick Steiner throwback wrestling attire going on, but man, he can go in the ring. He's the walking weapon, and I think Impact fans are going to be pleasantly surprised when they see him wrestle.
Okay. And last plug I'll mention, this actually goes for myself and Hurls. In a couple weeks on the Pop Culture Podcast, Hurls and I will be talking about Breaking Benjamin's debut album, Saturate. So, Hurls, I know you're looking forward to that.
Yeah, definitely. 2002, I believe that came out.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, definitely looking forward to that.
Pretty good album, I'll be honest.
Oh, yeah. Polyamorous Skin.
Their
Good
first three are good music. Other than that, they turn into mainstream generic shit. But first three albums, I'll give them their props.
Alrighty.
Yep.
Does anybody else have anything to add before we close it on down?
I think that's it for me.
Okay. Raven Effect, any final words?
I have to piss really bad.
Okay.
I do actually got something.
All right, wait, go ahead, Hurls.
Something. Have you guys checked out the Jericho Cruise prices?
Oh, God, what are they?
They're not bad. I mean, they're like, the cheapest ones are like $750. But then it also includes tax, which like goes up to like $900. But
that's the cheapest?
That's what I
saw. The cheapest is $750, and you're saying they're not bad. It's not the fucking Super Bowl. Jesus Christ. It's fucking watching a bunch of fucking indie wrestlers wrestle on a boat. Like Lonely Island isn't even there to sing "I'm on a boat."
I'm on a boat, motherfucker. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
All right.
I mean, nerds are paying this kind of money to watch wrestling. For real.
Okay, now Hurls, do you also want to say your thing that you bet money that Jericho is going to appear in Impact Wrestling? Because you have made that statement. Good.
I do. I feel way more confident now that he will show up in Impact. I'm thinking Bound for Glory. He's going to show up.
Okay.
I have a feeling. Yeah.
All right.
That's why I'm sticking with it. Yep.
Alrighty. So we shall see how that goes and how everything progresses. For Raven Effect, for Hurls, for the Standby Podcaster, I am Larkin, and this will conclude this week's Heelcast. And guys, thank you guys very much.